All right, so this is the Steve Miller Band, Abracadabra. We're waiting for our special guest today, Alexa Rose Carlin. Move this a little bit. All right, okay, I think we got it. So we got a lot of great things for you guys today coming up here on the We Connect podcast. My name is Amy Uzunian, and I'm your host of We Connect. I'm also the CEO and founder for Mood Connect. We just launched a really awesome health and wellness directory this past Friday called My Tree Wellness. I launched it on my daughter's 4th birthday. My daughter's name is Maitri Adishu Villani, and she is a goddess, and I love her so much. She inspires me always to be better and to grow and learn, and just be joyful, you know. So we're going to be hearing from Alexa Rose Carlin. She's the CEO and founder for Women Empower X, and I'm just so elated to have her joining with us today. And also, we have some special offers that have come down the line to us from Rise Sleep and Energy Tracker. They are offering right now 30 days free trial, and I believe 40% off your annual membership when you do sign up after the 30-day free trial. I've been using Rise Sleep and Energy Tracker for a while now, and it's helped me so much to keep track of my sleep and to increase my energy. It's a really, really great app. Also, if you are the kind of person who likes to take midday naps, the Rise Sleep and Energy Tracker will let you know what your melatonin levels are, so that during certain times of the day, you'll be more apt to be able to take a nap. So you can schedule that into your schedule, which is so helpful for me because I have to schedule everything and like down to the littlest thing. And I'm sure that lots of other people out there are the same way. You know, like you have to put in your calendar, oh, this is when I can take a nap. This is when I can take a lunch break. You know, this is when I can, whatever, you know, use the bathroom even. Maybe not that bad, but, you know, it is important to be able to stay on task and to stay on schedule. And Rise Sleep and Energy Tracker is really, really useful for that. So we're still waiting for Alexa, and I'm going to ping her and see where she is. And we'll see her shortly. Oh, here she is. Perfect timing. All right. And
hi.
Alexa Rose Carlin, welcome. Welcome to We Connect podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. You know, Alexa, from the first time that I met you, I was like, wow, this woman is something else, like really amazing and dynamic. Um, I met
Oh,
you
thank you.
the women's summit for Entra, and I was so surprised that I'd never seen you before. I was like, where's this woman been all my life? um, but but you've been doing so much, I guess since 2016, right?
Well, even before then, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur since I'm 17 years old and I'll be 30 this year. So quite
Wow.
some time. But with Women Empower X, I started in 2016.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That's what I could see from your site. So wow, and you're turning 30 this year. I cannot believe that actually. You're very mature, but I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people have told you look very young and very youthful. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
Uh, so I wanted to ask you, the first question I always ask guests is, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling optimistic, not just with the world that's slowly getting back to being able to connect with people in person and, hopefully people able to get back on their feet. But I'm also feeling optimistic about the way that the world has changed because of this. And so I would say I'm feeling optimistic is the one word.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, this is such a hopeful time and such a time to really dial into that optimism and that faith in humanity and the work that we're all doing, that we're all striving for. So, uh, um, I've done I've done a bit of research about like the work that you've done and your life, and after I had first heard you at the Entre Women's Summit, there was something about you. I was like, I I mean, like there just the um the tenacity in your words really, and like just um it was very inspiring. One of the things that you had said at that summit that I really just was listening to was your response about uh, like people who are trolls or haters, or anything like that. Like, you know, and can you maybe repeat that, because I feel like I will not be able to reiterate it word for word. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I do believe that no one more successful than you will ever take the time to judge you. Is that what I said? Hopefully.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yes.
Okay.
And you know what? You're amazing. I mean, because I was like, you know what? Alexa is such an amazing public speaker. I bet that she'll get this much better than I do. But yes, that was exactly what you had said. And I apologize for calling you on the spot to try to recall something.
No worries. Yeah, I like it.
No, yeah, it was just so dynamic because I thought to myself, yeah, so why would I even worry about any of those other people? Because I'm
Right.
on this journey, and I want to gravitate towards and think about people who are successful, because that.
Right. If you think about it, like the people that are at a level of success that you aspire to get to and that you're working to get to, they are going to be way more likely to actually help you and elevate you there versus the people that aren't there yet. There's going to be a few that have that jealousy or have that comparison mindset or want to get to where you are. And so because of that, some people take that out by trolling, by creating like negative comments, by, putting you down, by judgment in a negative way. And so, a lot of times it's just their way of being able to process it instead of just processing it internally and allowing yourself to understand like, okay, well, they're there, which means I could get there too, right? Her success does not mean my failure. It actually shows, well, if she can do it, so can I. If he could do it, so can I. But a lot of people don't perceive it that way because we're always in this lack mindset. We think there's not enough room for all of us when it is, there's enough room for all of us to be successful. There's so many opportunities out there. There's so many different types of people out there, and people gravitate to different types of personalities, different backgrounds, different perspectives. And that's the beautiful thing. When I believe that when you add who you are and what you do, you're always going to be able to achieve a certain level of success because that's your main point of differentiation. That's the thing that no one can replicate.
Yes, yes. And, the next thing that I wanted to touch upon, which made me want to work with your organization, Women Empower X, which I want to hear more about from you about how that all came to be, is the idea of uplifting the best way to uplift your own life is to uplift the lives of others. And I saw that so much with, the message that you were sharing with so many people on Instagram and TikTok, is that you really want all these other women in the world and, globally and internationally to succeed, because if they do succeed, then that helps you to succeed, and I love that whole idea behind that. So
Yeah,
go on.
Sorry. Community is so important. And I think that when you come from a mindset of helping one another, that community fuels you to take those bigger actions, to take those bigger risks, to go after those bigger dreams. And it also allows it to be way more fun. Like when you are working against everyone, it's just so challenging, and it's challenging enough, right? Like there's always going to be obstacles. It's not easy, or else everyone would be doing it. But when you can have support from people cheering you on and really there for you, like it makes the process so much better. And you get there faster and quicker and stronger because people introduce you to their, network. And I'm a firm believer that you are only one person away from possibly changing your whole life. And so through WEX, through our membership community, we work to not only help you make that connection with that one other person through the members themselves, but also through, outside experts, through connection to education, to training, to coaching, to, again, that connection is so imperative because it can be a connection to one more podcast, one more speaking gig, one more, job opportunity, one person that could change your entire life forever.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and I, like there are these certain people in your lives that, can really change so much and that can affect you for the better, or, sometimes there are even challenging people in our lives that, can give us a good lesson, to move forward in a different kind of path. So, I wanted, in a lot of my research, I wanted to find out who were your mentors, when you were first starting out in this journey and creating Women Empower X, and who were the types of people who inspired you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So my dad's an entrepreneur. So I grew up watching him, really create businesses from the ground up. And so I think it's like in my blood. I've always been very passionate about it, but he's been a mentor of mine since my first company, designing jewelry for an LA-based fashion company. Sabina, who is the founder of Press for Success, she brought me under her wing as my first internship in New York City when I was only 19 years old. And it turned into not just an internship, but she became my mentor. And still to this day, she hosts some of my clubhouse rooms. She now says like I'm a mentor to her, but she definitely helped me believe in myself and kind of just, learn the ropes in the world, especially in New York City, and like the hustle culture. My mom has been a mentor of mine in the level of confidence of always saying like, believe in yourself. I believe in you. And then, outside mentors that don't really know I exist, because that could definitely be a mentor as well. Like I've always looked to Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx. She's a self-made billionaire, and I've loved how authentic and vulnerable she is online and just herself. I mean, I love watching and learning from her. Gary Vaynerchuk I met him way before he is who he is today. And so I followed his journey. He's definitely been like an outside mentor in the sense of growing and putting yourself online. Same with Grant Cardone. So yeah, I think there's been a lot of different people that have come along my journey. Mark Cuban was a mentor of mine for I guess some time when I was growing a blog. I met him and he offered some support back and forth. And but I think you could find mentors anywhere. Like you don't have to know them specifically. But the key thing that I always did was I chose 1 to 3 people. I mean, I would say choose about 3 people from different walks of life, and maybe different industries to follow. And that's it. And then you could change them in different seasons of your growth. But what happens is everybody tries to listen to everybody. And then you get so overwhelmed because everybody has a different system and a different strategy. It's so imperative to like find one person that you resonate with and go deeper on their content versus just picking up content from everyone on the surface. Pick one person and invest in their membership, invest in their courses, invest in their coaching. So then you can learn more about like through their process and not be so overwhelmed. And that's what I've done my entire career. I've always had 1 to 3 people that I would just went all in and put blinders on for the rest of the advice. And that's what really helped me stay focused and less overwhelmed. And because I chose, a few people, it brought different perspectives, but it still was like, okay, I'm just listening to Grant Cardone around sales and finances. I'm just going to listen to Sabina around press. And so like, I was able to keep on growing without getting so overwhelmed with all the advice thrown your way.
That is such great advice. Yes, I definitely can agree with that. A lot of people have opinions and ideas, and people will even give unsolicited like opinions and ideas. Like, I think you should do this, and I'm sure that you experienced that. Yeah.
Yes.
So you spent some time in New York. Where originally are you from? And I guess you're in North Carolina now, right?
Yes. So I'm originally from South Florida and I lived there my whole life. And then I went to the University of Florida. And then after college graduation, I moved to New York City, got my dream job working at InStyle magazine, thought it was everything I wanted, but from health challenges, I had to move back home, move back in my parents when I was 22 years old. Felt like all my dreams were just taken from me. So kind of the backstory of that before I continue on is when I was 21 years old, a few months away from graduating college, I had this crazy near-death experience where bacteria got into my bloodstream, started killing all of my organs, and my body went into septic shock. It changed my entire life. I mean, I was given a 1% chance to live, and I was in a coma for 6 days, in the ICU for 10. And then after this experience, 6 months after, I was actually diagnosed with an autoimmune disease because, all the antibiotics pumping in my body for so long destroyed my entire gut system. And that has been the hardest, most challenging thing I've ever had to deal with, because my near-death experience, that's something in the past. It definitely taught me so much and was the biggest tragedy that I had to deal with at such a young age. But then my autoimmune, I mean, I deal with that every single day of my life. And there was a time of 7 years while I was growing WEX where I was too sick to leave my apartment, too sick to be able to do the things that I wanted to do. And it changed my entire life. And it was a lot of struggle, a lot of darkness, a lot of heartache and loss, in so many ways. But, today I've had to shift my perspective around it and view it as a blessing, view it as something that led me to where I am today, led me to being able to impact the people that I do, be able to be an empathetic leader. And so, but that's what really led me from going from New York. And I thought that was my dream in working in fashion, to moving back home. Ended up getting into coaching, ended up getting into speaking, wanted to really share my story as a speaker. And then when no one would give me an opportunity after pitching like 60 people, I was like, you know what? I'm going to create my own stage. Of course, that took months of getting over the rejection to be able to get to that point. And then I started creating my own small events under my blog at the time, and just around South Florida. And then during that journey, I saw the need for diverse women to connect and collaborate, because every event I spoke at was so segmented off by industry, age, or ethnicity. And I just thought, how much change can we create if we connect and collaborate? So that's what led to the first WEX conference. That's what led to, what I'm doing today with our membership community, impacting and empowering female entrepreneurs. And then the reason that I ended up in Raleigh, North Carolina, was because my parents were living in Dallas, Texas. My sister was going to college in Florida. I was traveling all over kind of as this like digital nomad on a 14-city speaking tour. Didn't really have a home base. And my sister got into the vet school here, and I'm very close to my family. So we all decided to move here together and follow her to vet school. And so that's how I ended up in Raleigh.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, wow. Well, I think it's beautiful that you are so close with your family. I mean, not a lot of people in the world are like still very close with the people in their family, and that's just so beautiful. Yeah, my sister is a vet actually in Colorado.
Oh,
Anyway,
nice.
uh, uh, you know, yeah, what I wanted to share with you also was that I had read about your story about your near death experience, and and I would see on Instagram you posting and sharing your very authentic self, and some of the vulnerabilities that you would go through, and in your autoimmune illness. And I wanted to tell you, like, that seeing those things really made me want to have you as a guest on We Connect even more, because you showed yourself as being such a real human being, like, who, yes, is building a successful business, but also what it inspired me so much, because what I thought to myself when I would hear you sharing those things was, my God, if this woman can do this, I definitely can get up off my butt and and try to do my hardest, because I mean, I'm a single mother, and I'll be thinking to myself like, oh, I got like all these challenges and stuff. But I like when I would like look at you and all the great work that you're doing, and how passionate you are, and how energetic and and just inspiring you are. I thought to myself, like, my God, if she can do this, I'm gonna get up and post something on Instagram. I mean, I did my first TikTok because I was inspired by you.
Oh,
Because I
awesome.
was like, you know what? I might not get this social media stuff 100% because I'm from Gen X kind of thing, but
Mhm.
I'm going to try, and I'm going to keep trying. And keep just doing it and get better and better, like, and learn more instead of just saying, oh, I'm just not good at this. I, I
Mhm.
mean, you helped me in that way so much. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, but yeah, I've signed up for your membership with Women in Power X, and it's interesting. When I first signed up, it was called the Inner Circle, and then I think you had changed it to just being a membership, right? And I know you had said that you gave a couple of reasons, to the people in the group. But is there anything that
Mhm.
you want to share about like how it was the inner circle and then it became, and then you changed that to just being just membership? Is there anything you want to share about
Yeah,
that?
definitely. So initially, when I started WEX, it was an event with a mission. And I never set out to be an event organizer. I did it because I wanted to connect this community and I wanted to grow as a speaker and really authentically connect with other women, where it would not just be a place where people are just throwing business cards in your face, but really sharing not just what you do, but who you are. And then through the growth, I kept on, we always have created based on community, based on what our community is looking for. And everyone always asks, like, is there a way I could stay connected with you? Is there a way that I could connect with other people from all over the world that came to our events? And so we were working on this idea for this membership community, and then the pandemic hit, so just sped it all up. And initially, like, we thought, all right, let's create the inner circle, and it's this, membership, but it is one factor of our business, and that's why we called it a name. But then when I started to really grow it and really see the opportunity of where we want to take it, I started noticing there's a lot of programs out there that call themselves an inner circle, and WEX is not like any of them. And WEX is very different. And I do not like being called the same thing. No one could be called Women in Power X. That's our name, right? It's trademarked, it's registered. And so that's one reason. But another thing is, now WEX has become this membership community because the people and we make it very, very affordable, but when you pay attention. And I'm here to create real transformation in people's lives. And we offer so much value free on Clubhouse, on social media, through our emails, through all the different things, through these, podcasts, through speaking. But there is something special around people that are willing to invest as little as just $30 a month into their future. Because when that happens, you find people that are so committed to not only their dreams and goals, but committed to each other. And that's what creates that community. And that's what creates that transformation and those connections. So not only are we offering you the trainings, the coaching, the access, the opportunities every single month, but also we're really mindful around the community we're building. And so now WEX in itself is an inclusive membership community. It's not just one part of our product, right? You could get the things that we do online, but if you want to really dive deeper into connecting with us, into getting the opportunities, into speaking, into just all the things, the training, then you have to show some type of commitment through that paying. And so that's where we saw, like, everything we're doing is for our members. Everything that we do, when we bring back events, virtual events, members will be able to attend free. If we do retreats one day, if we do, in-person exclusive interviews with certain experts, like, members will always get the priority for everything we do, because that's who we're serving. And then we welcome anyone and everyone to become a member.
Wonderful. That's like really exciting. And so anyone and everyone, so it's not just women, but like, but men also, or
Yeah, that's a good question. So of course the majority are women, but we
right.
do have a few men, because one, they have a business that is targeted to women. So it's a really smart move for someone that has a product or a service that's targeted to women to be part of a women's community. So you can learn how other women think, how we do business, what we want. So that's a really smart move on, a male entrepreneur side. So, but yes, majority of it is women.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are a lot out there, right? Men that are building businesses that are catered to women. So that makes sense, Yeah, because when I saw that on your site, I was like, that that sounds interesting. I wonder how that works, like men being,
Mhm.
included. Um, well, because we connect it, this special thing about our podcast is kind of focusing on mental health and health and wellness and the mind, body, spirit, and bank account. I kind of wanted to ask you, uh, you know, do you have any kind of mental health tips or things that you've found have really, really worked for you in your life and in building your business that you'd like to share?
Definitely. So there's a few things. One is are certain like one word mantras that have helped me during some very challenging times. One is surrender and the other is trust. And what that means is surrender and, to the journey, surrender to the flow of things and trust the journey. And that just allows me to really release so much control over the outcome versus just focused on doing my best with the right intentions, because it mental it's so hard when you care so much. There's this give and take. Like, you want to care about the work you do, you want to care about the people, but when you care too much, it's so difficult. And I'm someone that cares way too much, probably. And so with that, I've caused so much anxiety, so much stress over different things that I've used those words, surrender and trust. And it's true. Like, anytime I followed my intuition, anytime, I was working from a place of good intention, things worked out. Whether they went down the path that I thought they would, they did work out. And so that's one thing that I just keep in the back of my pocket is surrender and trust. Another thing that has helped me with, mental health is, well, to surround myself with my family that's very supportive, people that accept me for who I am. And also journaling is really key. I mean, you could see, in the video right now, but I guess if you're listening to this, you can't see it, but I have so many journals, and I really work to express myself through those journals, write things out so they get out of my head and onto paper. So those are a few things that have helped me a lot throughout my journey.
Yeah. And, I guess perhaps maybe some of those things that you even journal, you could even, incorporate into some kind of like an actual book. I think that I've heard you say that you're having a book that's, you know, in the wings, I guess, right? Like, that's coming around the bend. So, did you want to share
Yes.
with me about that?
Yeah, definitely. I signed on with the publisher last year. So this will be my first published book. I'm very excited about it. I am working with their editors right now to finish up the manuscript. So it's fully written. We're just in the editing process. And so it will be launched this year. We don't have an exact set date yet until the editing process is complete. Then we'll have more of like when we'll start the pre-launch. The book is called Adaptable, and it is focused on helping you really push through any obstacle, adapt to any amount of change that you're hit with, and to show that you are strong enough. And here is how you can adapt positively to any change and not just survive through it, but thrive through it and lead your life with that curiosity and understand that there's always hope and it's right inside of you.
Yeah, yeah. I love that so much. I'm I can't wait to get a chance to read it, because I believe so much that our experiences uh, can can help us to grow and thrive, like whether we find it to be, positive or negative experiences, they're all valuable, and, and help us to move forward in our journeys. Um, Another thing that I really loved, that I saw that you posted on Instagram recently, was a video of you talking about a tarot card reading that you did I guess she's a member of WEX. I'm not sure if she's a member of WEX, but I really appreciated that kind of idea of bringing the spiritual world into the business world, and something that I feel like can be connected and click together, that things like tarot readings or astrology or any of those kinds of things, they don't have to necessarily be classified as something separate and distant from the business world or world of finance,
Oh
so
yeah, definitely.
yeah, is there anything you wanted to share about that?
So I love all things spirituality. Through my journey healing, I participated in a lot of different spiritual practices, holistic coaches, integrative centers. Like I just got really into spirituality because I had to believe that this happened for me versus to me.
Mhm.
And I went through that for a reason. And I've always been very connected to the universe, to God, whatever you believe, very connected to a higher calling. And then after my near death experience, after everything I experienced in the coma, I was even more so connected. So I love all things spirituality. So she reached out to me. She follows me on Clubhouse, and that's how we got connected, and is part of the WEX Club. And so she asked if she could do a reading on me. So I was like, sure. I've never done a tarot card reading, but like I said, I love all things spirituality. So I'm always open to it. And it was very on point. I really enjoyed it. And, whether you believe things like or not, I think it's more fun to go through life believing things rather than being someone that tries to prove other people wrong. Like I am just always come from a positive space. And I think it's really helpful to be able to explore different things and learn different cultures, different religions, different ways of being in order to become the best version of yourself.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I love that so much. Yeah, because um like all of these things are interconnected with each other, and it is always really wonderful to be open to all cultural education, learning, and experiences, so that we can be better connected with each other, you know um, and yeah, I so agree with that. I loved, I think I told you this before, I loved the money mantra that you have, on in your
Yes.
membership, the coursework that you have in there. When I saw that, I was like, wow, this woman is speaking my language, and I feel like it's because you are so open to the uh, belief systems of so many other people. Like maybe you don't practice everything yourself, but you're accepting and open to all of those ideas and concepts, because it's like we understand that even if it's not our belief system, it's important to someone else, and so that makes it worth understanding, you know so
Definitely. And I think that's one of the biggest problems in the world today, and why we've seen so much separation through what happened last year, because people are not accepting of different people's beliefs. We believe what we believe so strongly. And if you don't believe that, it's like, I don't understand you. I can't I can't be with you. I can't have a conversation with you. But every single person is allowed to believe what they believe.
Yeah.
And yes, we try to help people see the good, help people get to, a path where that's going to get them to a place of acceptance, of a place where they can feel comfortable being themselves. But we can't ever get to that place if we don't fully listen to people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I guess that, do you feel like building WEX was part of your own healing journey for yourself?
I think that WEX was a product from healing, because when I was going through a lot of the journey healing, I actually started a live streaming show in the Periscope days called Morning Motivation with Alexa. And I showed up Monday through Friday to motivate this audience live. And then I had a flare up with my autoimmune, and I just got so sick. And that that flare up lasted 8 months to 2 years really. And there were so many days where I was like, I can't be myself and motivate these people at 10 o'clock in the morning when I'm so sick. I can't even get out of bed. So I came to this decision that I can either stop and wait till I get better, or I can share vulnerably what I'm going through with them. And I decided to share vulnerably. And I'm glad I did, because it lasted, almost basically a year. And because I did that, that's when I really started to grow online, because people related to the current struggle. Instead of me just motivate them or even talk about my past struggles, I was saying what I was going through now, but I'm still showing up and I'm still chasing after my dreams, and you can too. And there was times where I cried live with them. I was very, very vulnerable and real, but through that, my community kept on showing up for me. And I believe that they, helped save my life and helped me not give up at days when I just wanted to. And so with that led me to really wanting to create an online and offline community that really supported people in that way.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, I'd read about like you doing Periscope, but I didn't know that you would like show up even if you were like really, really sick. And and it's just so wonderful like how your community connected with you, and and that you were kind of supporting each other, in this like
Mm-hmm.
almost like a community ecosystem of that, building support. Um, how does it feel talking about all of that kind of stuff from back then, like now? Like what is like how do you feel when you share those kinds of things now?
I feel very grateful, because I'm the healthiest I've been since 2013, since then. And it's been a long, long journey to get to this point. But so today, when I talk about it, I feel very grateful. And I also do feel different. I also feel like that was a different Alexa than I am today, because I went through it all. And, obviously I still have my autoimmune disease, and there are days that I don't feel good, but today there's way more days I do feel good than I don't, versus before there were so few days that I ever felt good. And so that Alexa back then was living in so much darkness, and I could not see the light. And today I feel grateful for having the strength to be able to go through that so I can share it. And if I do go through something like that again, because as I mentioned, it's chronic, there's a lot of things that can happen to cause a flare up, that I will be able to know that it won't last forever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that it is like experience offers information to our own brain and our own body. Um, um, are you connected with people who have a similar like autoimmune illness? Like, have you inspired those kinds of people to work, like towards their dreams in the same kind of way?
Yeah, that's a good question. I am part of different support communities just for me to find that support on Facebook. There was a long time I was going to a hospital every week for a support group when I was going through it, and my mom came with me. And today because I share vulnerably on stages all over the world, naturally, when I get off the stage, people come up to me and share that they have this autoimmune disease. Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's different, but the struggle is very similar when it's chronic. And so through that, I've been able to empower and inspire people that are going through it. And same online, like even today when I speak at virtually to colleges all over, like there's so many times, I would say at least one person every time I speak sends me a DM online and says, I have an autoimmune disease and I never thought that I could do what I wanted to do. And now I see you, and it gives me hope. It gives me strength.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like you do inspire people like in a big way, and it's such a beautiful thing, like to see, and you offer so much. One thing I wanted to say is that I can see that that's a positive thing. But then, on the other spectrum of it, I also know that sometimes people can want too much from people who are inspiring, like say, like I saw another thing that you had posted. It was a video talking about like, don't ask to pick my brain, thing. And, at first I was like, oh, what's this about? Like, it didn't make sense to me, because I always kind of think that people who are authorities on things want people to come at them, because then they can be, I guess, possible clients, or, like leads, that kind of thing. But you bring up a really great point that that teachers and mentors, there's a way to communicate with them. And the way that I actually had reached out to you, I didn't know you at all. And I remember I had messaged you during that summit. And I was so ignorant to these kinds of things, like, like, oh, you're supposed to like approach a person, with getting to know them, um, and like really building that relationship before asking, for them to do something to help you, and so that was a great learning experience for me to see, like how things are done appropriately and how to communicate with someone who you want to become your teacher or your mentor.
Yeah, definitely. So it's not to not ask for help and not to reach out. It's to show value first. And that value can even be just commenting publicly on their Instagram posts. Like, I can't tell you how many times people have reached out and asked to pick my brain. They don't even follow me online. It's like, I don't understand why someone would take the time when you are not putting in the work. And that just kind of goes back to like, you're teaching the wrong things if someone does do that. We want to help you. That's the reason I got in this work in the first place. Like, I want to mentor people. I want to educate people. I want to coach people, but there comes a point where you have to also protect your energy and your time. You can't possibly say yes to everything. And I did that for a long time until I got burnt out. You cannot say yes to everything. And so it goes back to the point where, if you think about it, like just think about it, like if someone randomly that you've never seen online sends you a DM and says, hey, can I pick your brain? I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Like, I could buy my own cup of coffee. Why would I go and sit with you and share all this knowledge that has taken me 20 years to get, plus thousands and thousands of dollars that I've invested in myself, and spend time with you to just give you whatever you want, and instead of spending time with my sister or my mom or going to get coffee with my fiance, like, or someone that's in the WEX community? Like, it doesn't make sense if you think of it like that. But if someone who doesn't know me personally really wants to gain value and really wants to learn from me, Well, the way to do it is, sign up for my newsletter and read what I'm taking the time to write every week. Then, look at the blog post I'm posting on LinkedIn and comment a thoughtful, engaged comment on it. Obviously, if we're taking the time to do those things, we care about it. And if you show up and read it and write a thoughtful comment, that's showing us value. It's free. We're not saying to spend any money, but if you show up, if it's not even that you have to become a member, whatever, or buy their coaching programs, whatever it may be. But if you support them in different ways, publicly, not through a private DM, then they're going to notice your name. And then when you do slide into their DMs, you already showed them value for maybe a couple of weeks, a month, whatever. They're going to be more likely to respond to you. Because you have to think, like, if you're reaching out, so are thousands of other people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And, and it's that engagement that's really, it's valuable. It builds that sense of community and connection, and other people then can see what that person has done to help you, you know,
Mhm.
and it's all out there in the open, and so it definitely, it is more of a value added kind of thing. And I think that's a very valuable kind of a bit of information for anybody out there who is wanting to uh, learn more, in the world of public speaking or being a founder, entrepreneur, tech startup, whatever, it may be. The best way to approach people who have knowledge that, or basically have what you want to attain in your own life, is to engage and be, of some kind of support or value in their world too, and so, yeah,
Right.
I 100% agree. I think that sometimes, especially in the world of social media, it's like following and, liking. It's almost this like coveted kind of thing that people maybe don't want to give up. Like, oh, I want to have more followers than I'm following, is something I notice in Instagram, right?
Mhm.
And it's all just numbers, they can go up or down or whatever, you just, if you're, I kind of feel like if you're looking, if you're, your goal is something greater than follows and likes, then, and you have a very set, straight goal that you're working towards, uh, then you'll be able to make your mark. And all those other things, it's just all, noise in the periphery.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, people are focused on the wrong things.
But yeah, I thank you so much for your time, Alexa. This has been a really wonderful and fulfilling conversation. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with people, that, about WEX and some of the things that you're doing in April, since we're at April 1st, and diving into spring, any kind of ideas and promotional things that you're doing this week or this month?
Yeah, definitely. So, well, it's the start of quarter two. Not only is it spring, and so with any start of a new quarter, right? You should really focus on re-looking at your goals that you set for the year, and are you on track from what you just accomplished in Q1? And so, for inside our WEX membership, we have a training that's teaching you how to create your quarterly revenue strategy. And so we say, go back to that training on the start of each quarter and make sure that what you set for each quarter, you're on track with. It's all focused on your revenue goals and what revenue generating activities are attached to each of those goals. So you're actually moving forward to reaching those. And so that's one thing you should definitely be doing. And that's available for all members. It's inside their portal. And then this month, we're launching two different things for our members. One is an email marketing masterclass that's taught by a leader at AWeber. And so every single thing that we do is very short, to the point, concise. Like every video is around 5 to 8 minutes long, because we know when you're growing your dreams, you know, you don't have a lot of time. So we don't want to add all that fluff. We want to keep it short and like, here's what you do step by step. And you can literally spend 8 minutes during a break and take in a whole training. And so that's one thing we're launching this month. And then on the first Monday of April, my training that I put together called the KISS marketing strategy is launching for all members. And that's to help you create a simplified marketing strategy so you don't feel super overwhelmed. And it will help a lot of people focus on the right marketing activities that produce the highest return on your investment. And investment means energy, time, not just money, staff, team. So those two things we're dropping this month for members, and membership is always open, and you can learn more about it at womenempowerx.com.
Wonderful. Oh, yeah. You know what, I got to tell you, I love the trainings that you have in the membership portal. I am looking forward to the KISS marketing strategy trainings, and also the email marketing training as well, because I'll tell you, like, I don't know if this is the same for a lot of other people, but monthly email newsletters are like, I'm just like, do I have to really send one? I'm like, yes, you do, Amy. Yes, you do. You got to do it. You got to do it. You know, the woman who told me that I really needed to get on that, you know, like right away, was Diane Prince, who I don't know if you know her, but she is a big proponent for email newsletters. And I was like, does anybody really open up email anymore? And she's like, yes, Amy. And even if you don't think they do, you have to. And she said, you know, if they're not opening up your emails, then you got to learn how to put together a better email that people are going to open up and read and click through, you know? So like, and there's an art to that. So I was like, all right, okay, I'll work on it. So I still do the monthly email newsletter. And maybe I should be sending more than one, but I'll learn more in your training.
Yes, you'll learn about it in the training for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Alexa. This has been a wonderful experience talking with you and hearing more about you and learning more about you and WEX. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today. You know, yeah. Welcoming into Q2. I mean, this is a brave new world.
Thank you so much. And thanks for being part of the WEX community. I'm looking forward to growing with you.
Yeah, same here. Have a great rest of your day. And yeah,
you too.
Happy Passover, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, blessings to you and your family, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.